G'day guys, m8t5 here, and today I'll be reviewing Lucy. So Lucy is a science fiction action film which is directed by Luc Besson and stars Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman. And the film tells the story of Scarlett's character Lucy, who after some certain events ends up being used as a drug mule to transport a new type of drug around undetected. And of course this drug ends up in her system, and throughout the course of the film starts to unlock the full 100% use of her brain capacity, which rewards her with amazing powers and pretty much becomes unstoppable. So judging by the trailer of this movie and the concept of the plot, I was really intrigued by it. It reminded me of this other film called Limitless, where a special drug rewarded the character with super smarts. But in Lucy, even stranger things happen, as she's not only super smart, but also wields special powers such as telekinesis and mind control. So I thought that Lucy was maybe going to be a really badass version of Limitless, and that's the impression I got from the trailer. But sadly, that isn't the case at all. I swear that every single action scene that you see in the trailer for this film is all of the action scenes in the entire film. This film instead mostly focuses on the brain capacity concept, and overall feels more like a sci-fi film with lots of crazy ideas, but at times interesting ideas. So I thought Scarlett Johansson is great in this film. I think she's a great actress, although her character in this film was a little lifeless and cold, but that's how her character was written to be. So since I found her character to be a bit uninteresting due to the fact that she is so lifeless, I figured I'd at least be highly entertained by the action. But, like I said, there's not much action at all. Morgan Freeman is also in this movie, and he plays this professor who has theories about the whole brain capacity concept, and in his scenes he's pretty much the communicator to the audience to let us know what's going on, because seriously, you need 100% of your brain to understand this film. It is an ambitious idea when you first hear about it, but once the credits start rolling, you'll be sitting in the theater thinking to yourself, so what? I think that Lucy is one of the most bizarre and confusing films I have seen lately, and takes the whole brain capacity idea to an extremely ambitious level and just made no sense to me whatsoever. So since the film mostly focused on the plot, I was left so confused that I started to not really enjoy the overall experience. I mean, sure, the special effects and the little action is cool, but the over-ambitious plot, it was just too much for my brain. Like, it was a great idea at the start of the film and was really interesting, but as the movie went on, the theory just got more and more crazy and confusing. Not only was the plot ridiculous, but the characters in this universe were so dumb, like wow. In any film, if you notice that the extras in the back are really dumb, there is something wrong with your film. What I mean by this is that the extras seem to be completely oblivious to anything that's going on around them. Seriously, Lucy walks around with a gun in her hand and nobody notices. In a hospital. Not only that, but seriously, if you saw 20 or so men slowly walking towards you in suits, you would think to pay extra attention to them, but no. They're just like bloody invisible to these characters. It was so stupid, and I was constantly yelling in my mind, how do you not notice that? Also, the final act of the movie? What? It was not only one of the most confusing endings I've ever seen, but also one of the most disappointing. For the majority of the film, it feels like that it's building up to something awesome and amazing, but just deflates in 1 second and then abruptly ends. So really, I can't talk too much more about this film, because then I'll just be giving away the plot, and that's pretty much all this film relies on. So I thought it was a great concept, and the little action was cool, but it was nothing special, and the plot was just over ambitious and just took the idea to an extreme level that just wasn't an enjoyable ride for me. I understand that the director tried something new and he had balls to try and make a movie like this, but I think it just went too overboard and just left me with a really disappointing experience. I feel as if I can't give this movie any more than a 4 out of 10. The film took an idea that could have been made for a really interesting action movie of the year, but unfortunately threw it all aside and just focused on this really ambitious plot that just ruined the entire experience for me, and it just wasn't enjoyable. But did you guys like Lucy? Let me know in the comments below, did you guys enjoy the overall film and the ambitious plot? Now if there's anything you want to know about the film, leave me a comment down below and I'll get back to you. And if you like this review and you want to see more, remember to like me on Facebook or subscribe to me on YouTube if you want to see more. Alright guys, thanks for watching my review of Lucy. Even though that I had a really disappointing experience, I hope that there's people out there that can really find this film very entertaining with the whole concept of the brain and the 100% capacity theory. But for me, it was too much for me. But anyways, m8t5, bloody out of here.